I am in Rankin Park in Martinez, California. A city I've been to before and a park I have not been to before. This is a trail, and right now I'm kind of in a quandary because I've been riding the bus all day. I have my baggage, but on the other hand, it's 4 hours at least until my train comes, the Coast Starlight. So I want to do something, so I'm climbing up this hill. This path is a little steeper than I thought it would be, and I thought it would be steep. It's also a little bit more scraggly. Look at that. The weather here is kind of strange in Humboldt County, hundreds of miles to the north. It was cold and wet, and here it's still overcast. It's warmer, it's a bit humid, so I had to take off my hoodie for climbing this hill. There's also a chill to the air. I would be curious to know how recent this sign is. I don't know if there's still cattle grazing on the other side of it. But that's a well-maintained barbed wire fence. So one thing about this park that's interesting is we're still in the San Francisco Bay Area. Things are pretty urban here. You can hear the trains blowing. But actually, you know, of major U.S. cities that I can think of, San Francisco is the one where you can, like, really, you know, still be in the city's urban area or just a little bit outside of it. And you're going to have agriculture. And that's kind of a contradiction because, you know, San Francisco is stereotypically the most stereotypical U.S. city. But compared to, like, Houston or Dallas, Chicago, you're really close to this and this. So there's a gate here, but it has a hand unlatchable chain, and it does say no motor vehicles, but if they wanted to say no trespassing, they would say no trespassing. So I'm assuming this is continuing to be a public trail. This view here shows how far I've climbed above Martinez so far. And this is where I'll continue. Looks like I'm close to reaching the crest of a hill. Maybe not a crest of the hill, but a crest of a hill. I hope this is audible over the wind. I'm just walking along the ridgeline here. And if you didn't know better, I could be anywhere. And I think I am going towards where there will be a viewpoint. And then I'll turn around. This is apparently Bay Area Ridge Trail. And I'm going to go in this direction. So, I've reached this viewpoint at this bench. This is the Carquinez Strait, Carquinez. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That is Benicia, California. That is the Benicia Martinez Bridge. And this is Martinez, California, where I am waiting for my train. So I'm waiting up here instead of waiting down there. Did take about an hour to come up here. Probably will take less than an hour to go down. She'll still leave me a couple hours to wait there. Look at those clouds. Look at that dark sky. Look at that California. Look at that sunshine. Feels kind of eerie, like I'm in between darkness and light, and urbanity in the wilderness, reality and unreality. Forgive me for being too poetic, but I walked up here and feeling some things before I go down and spend a night asleep on the train. Anyway, so if you are in Martinez, California, especially if you're an Amtrak rider at some times of the year, you know, in the spring and summer months, you can walk up here and it's a good place to wait if you're waiting for that Coast Starlight or something. So just something to think about. I enjoyed coming up here in my own way. Now I'm going to return back this way. So this answers the question of whether there have been cattle here recently. There have been. I don't know how recently. That's a skill I don't have. Identifying the age of bullshit. Anyway, so that just kind of heightens to me the contradiction. Here we are, one of the world's major metropolitan regions, and I'm wandering around some moors that are used as a cow pasture. My entire time that I've been up here, I have seen one person. When I was at the viewpoint, we didn't say anything. No, I saw another person earlier, also didn't say anything. So there's hundreds, maybe thousands of acres. And, it's also a relatively nice day in May. Would be a good day for hikers, even if not perfect. And look at how lonely it is up here. And I didn't notice them before. Over in that direction, we can see there are cattle grazing on the hill. They're probably used to hikers here. They're just curious. So it's going to be a pretty normal sight in a place like this. So that deer was the most interesting thing I saw on my way down. The way down is a lot like the way up, only easier on my lungs and a little bit harder on my toes and ankles. And yeah, it's getting dark here. Still an hour until sunset, but feels a little bit darker. Sun's behind some clouds. So just returning to town, peaceful enough. So here's some more wildlife. That looks like a wild turkey. Common enough bird in a lot of places. Wasn't expecting to see it here. Didn't see any on the way up. We've returned to the gate. When I first reached this gate, I felt like I'd gone up for a while, and the truth is this is just outside of town. Just a short way in. This last part, walking down this has been the hardest part of this hike. Walking up it wasn't as much of a problem. Walking down it is difficult. But I will be done soon. To include another surprise wildlife just outside of town and far away from the water, I found a rough-skinned newt, or whatever the California equivalent is, a probably different species of the same genus. And this is an extremely poisonous newt, which is why I'm not touching it. And also, I'm not touching it because right now he just seems to want his privacy in there. But that was kind of a surprise to me because I haven't seen one all winter in Oregon, and here I am in a much different climate, far away from the water, and I just saw one walking across the path. So, a lot of little surprises out there today. So, looks like we've reached the gate, returning to reality, or whatever approximates it these days. Anyway, I have one more thing I want to see in Martinez. Want to go see the marina, but this walk is concluded.